Hey everybody, Brian McCumber here from Tech Money Talks. I am really excited because today we have one of the best female professional dropshippers on the planet. We are fortunate to have Nazerati as a special guest on the show. She is absolutely crushing it in dropshipping and is quickly becoming an internet personality. For those of you in dropshipping, you need to get to know who Naz is because she's a multi-million-dollar producer with $25,000 Days Dropshipping and is totally living the laptop lifestyle. If you're interested in starting an online business to make extra money, you better save this episode in your back pocket and listen to it over and over again because the stories and the tips you're going to learn here will give you the opportunity to quickly launch your own business to help your bank account grow fat. Naz is one of the fastest growing professional drop shippers, delivering value weekly on YouTube, showing exactly how she runs and scales her drop shipping business. Before my eyes, she's been sharing juicy tips and strategies for aspiring drop shippers to sink their teeth into, all while keeping it real the whole time. Time is money and everyone's looking to get a piece of her time, and I'm so happy to have her on the show today. Naz, thanks for joining us. How's it going?
Well, thanks for having me. It's going great. How are you?
Awesome. Hey, I'm doing great. Really excited. And I just wanted to mention in building up, leading to this interview, that a lot of women, aspiring women looking to get into e-commerce is really looking forward to this episode. So I'm really glad to have you on the show today.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Honestly, I'm so excited to get more female into the game because I don't see so many girls still starting dropshipping. I get a lot of messages still from girls. They're like, oh, I always wanted to get started, but I just wasn't sure if it's right for me. So I'm kind of excited about this.
This is great stuff. Great stuff. Well, you know what? For the audience, I was wondering if you could share your journey into dropshipping.
Well, do you want me to start from before I started or how I got into it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, even before.
Okay. Well, when the reason I got into dropshipping, I wasn't planning to dropship. Clearly, I feel like most people that get into it, they just hear from someone and they just get into it, and then they figure that it's one of the best ways to actually get into internet marketing, to make money and all that. Before I started dropshipping, I was working at a gym. I was doing sales, and I actually loved what I was doing. The reason I didn't want to work anymore was because I was working 12 hours a day, and I was working crazy amount of hours. And I'm in my early 20s, right? So in my early 20s, I'm working Monday through Saturday. The only day that I have off is Sunday. So I'm spending all my time thinking, like, working basically. So at the time I was thinking, what am I doing? All my friends are like having fun. They're going to places. I'm making some money, but I'm not really enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was looking for that freedom. Most people that get into, they get into starting a business, I feel like it's either money, freedom, or they want status, right? For me, it was freedom. I wanted to have that freedom to do whatever I wanted to do, right?
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's how I got into it. And I started drop shipping. And then clearly the first couple of months, I didn't see crazy results. I tested everything. And eventually once I found my first winner, that's when I knew I'm just going to make this a full-time job.
Wow. That's great. And so was dropshipping actually like the first thing into e-commerce and online business, or was there anything before?
Well, I was working on this. So my background is fitness, right? So I was trying to learn Facebook ads for starting a fitness business. And when I was learning Facebook ads, I came across dropshipping, right? Because clearly the first method to get traffic for dropshipping is Facebook ads, at least for me. And when I learned that, I was like, I could just start selling a product. So I figure out later if I want to sell a service, right? And then at that point, I just liked the way dropshipping was and how automated it could be. And then I think that's one of my favorite things compared to having service, like starting with a service based business, is that you can automate the dropshipping business so much faster than any other businesses.
Yeah. And totally lead into that passive income to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Get your system right. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, that's awesome. And then I remember catching that like throughout the journey, that first year, what was your revenue like the first year? I thought this was awesome.
It was about $500,000, but not gonna lie, I hate being one of those people saying, oh, that's my number, and not talk about what the basically profit was. My profit was probably less than 20%. So I mean, still money. I'm not gonna lie, still good money. But I don't want to be one of those people saying, oh, I made this much, because that's the whole thing is not profit. My profit was less than 20%, probably I would say between 15 to 20%. And then, started from there. And then you just get to know what you're doing with your business, and then grow it, and then improve the profit margin.
Yeah. And what year was that? Was that back in
That's in
2016?
between 2016 and 17. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's awesome. In your journey there, so as you led into, you said that it took you, was it a couple of months, diving into it, and then you started to
Yes.
see sales? Yeah. Maybe
So
describe that for the audience. Yeah.
the first couple of months I was not committed fully, because I didn't believe it's real. Just like anybody else, I feel it's a real thing, right? Like when you get into it, you see people showing, they're like, oh, it's a scam. There's no way you can make money like that, right? It's just like a thought that we have. But the thing is, once you get results, your doubts go away, right? You're like, oh, this is actually real. You can actually make money like this.
Yeah.
The first couple of months I was not fully committed, just because I didn't believe it could happen. But then I saw a lot of people talking about it. And once I started testing products, and I think it was my 20th product that took off. And then the first product, I made probably 10,000 in profit. And at that point I was like, this is real. This is actually happening. I can do this. I can make this a full-time job.
Wow. And so for the audience, hopefully you just caught that little tidbit there, which is that she was testing onto her 20th product, and in testing 20th product, then finally reaching a profit. So, for most people, when they're entering in, they might get discouraged after, trying the first few or a handful, but maybe speak to that as far as being persistent, because it's all about testing.
100%. And I think that's number one reason people actually fail in dropshipping. Every time I get a lot of messages, people asking me, I spent $1,000, $2,000. And then the first question I ask them is, how many products have you tested? And they tell me 3, 4. And it just makes me want to cry, because you can't just focus on one product, especially when you get getting started. You don't know what works and what doesn't, right? When you're getting started, you don't know what's selling, what doesn't sell. And honestly, after a while, I would say after, let's say you have 2, 3 products, you kind of got to get an idea, and you might be able to tweak the video from one product to make it work. But in the beginning, I would say just test a lot of products. And then after a while, you get an idea. Once you get that one product that is selling, you get an idea of what is selling and what is not selling. And then you become basically, I call it, you graduate from being a beginner to an intermediate.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely levels. And fast forwarding to this point, maybe paint the picture for the audience, level of success that you're doing now with your dropshipping business.
So now, I have a business partner now, because I'm working on a couple other things too.
Cool.
And so one thing is Facebook and dropshipping and everything, they're a little bit more strict about advertising. So I had really, like, for example, last month was that when I hit my 25,000 a day. And that's when right after I got shut down by Facebook. And then
oh, wow.
It's just like crazy. Like, I don't know if it's because you scale too fast or what it is, but I didn't have these kind of problems like when I started, like I had no problems with like scaling in one store, one Facebook ad account. But I mean, we're still scaling right now. We're just working on a new store. After getting shut down the last month, but we're working on a new store, and we're currently doing about $2,000-$3,000 a day, just because we're not scaling yet, just because again we're low in inventory. But once our supplier gave us the okay, we're planning to get this to probably, I'm hoping to get it to 40,000 a day. That's been my goal for the last 6 months.
Man.
And then I'm trying to get it to 40,000 a day. So we'll see how it goes. As long as I get the okay from my supplier that I can scale up, I'm going to go for it.
That's awesome. And maybe even touch on that, because I remember even catching that you've been working with the supplier, because at the scale that you're working with, even those type of numbers, that's awesome. So, I mean, if it's $2,000-$3,000 days without even scaling as yet, that's awesome, number one. And then number two, knowing that, hey, when you're ready to turn on scaling, that you have a goal in the tens of thousands of dollars per day, but you need to make sure that your supplier is on board with that.
Right.
Maybe touch on that for the audience, that because sometimes if people are having some success, they're not really thinking about that at that.
Right. Right. So like I feel like one of my biggest struggle have been exactly just this, besides Facebook ads, been working with a good supplier. And then that's one reason I don't use AliExpress anymore. I quit AliExpress a while ago. I still test with
Wow.
AliExpress, but I don't scale on AliExpress. The reason is just because a lot of suppliers in AliExpress would tell you that, let's say for example they ship the item but they haven't. Like one thing people actually don't know, people suppliers on AliExpress, they're drop shippers themselves, so they
Hmm.
are the middleman. So when you have, like, let's say you have 7-8 orders for example, they wait till they get 50 orders, then they go to the actual supplier and order and then send it to the person. So they could take a
Wow.
long time, and then taking a long time can really really hurt your business. It could hurt your basically your PayPal goes on hold, your merchant account can shut you down, and that's one of the things that you really don't want to happen to you. So that's
Yeah.
one of my main reason I work with a supplier, is that when I work with a supplier, let's say I have 20-30 orders, I put the orders every night, and then they update the tracking every single night, and they ship the items the next day. So actually
Yeah.
from my shipping time right now is between 7 to 10 days, which is great.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I don't do e-packet anymore either. I use USPS, and it's $1 more, $2. I'm not sure how much, but I rather pay that rather than getting, having problems in my business.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's really great. Now, let's say if we take a step back, even for like the newbies getting started, should they be fearful about using AliExpress, or would that be
N-
okay?
Honestly, not when you're testing, because when you're testing, it doesn't matter. Your merchant and PayPal would give you problems when let's say you're having 50 to 100 orders a day and they're all delayed. You shouldn't worry about like 2, 3, 4, 5 sales a day.
Yeah.
Like at one point that you have a winner and your ad sets are getting consistent sales, I would say between 20 to 30 a day consistently, then I would start thinking about working with a supplier, because they actually have minimum orders that you need to work with. I think some say you have to have 50, some say you have to have 30 a day, and it has to be consistent. Otherwise, they wouldn't actually work with you.
Wow, really good. Now, for the audience, hopefully you caught on to that, because Naz has this strategy, so you can see how she's laying it out, where she has a testing system in place and then a scaling system in place, which is just really awesome. So for the audience, and especially if you're just getting started, that you can work with AliExpress with the mindset of, you're testing out products to find that winner, and when you start getting those sales, then you're moving into that scaling mode, and then that's where you want to start thinking more about finding the right supplier to work with and things like that. Man, that is awesome for sure. Treating your business like a business, that's how you do it. So
Exactly.
that's really great stuff. Now, you know what? I'm actually curious. So, like, at the level that you're crushing it at in running your business, what does a day in your life look like? Maybe you could paint that picture for the audience.
A day in a life. Well, I have a dog, so every morning when I wake up,
Awesome.
my husky wakes me up like around 6 a.m.
My
And I'm not
dog's
telling
right
you,
here, right now, next to me.
really,
He
what kind of
just
dog do
came
you
up.
have?
I have a German Shepherd. His name is
Oh my
Bear. He
god, that was my
just.
second option if I didn't say a husky.
I did see your husky. He's like really cute. Boy or girl?
It's a girl.
Girl. Awesome.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. The dogs are the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, early in the morning, usually my husky wakes me up around 6 a.m. Not telling people that you need to wake up at 6 a.m. But that's when she usually starts singing and waking me up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yes. Yes. And then we go for a walk, we get coffee, I go to the gym, I get a couple hours of work done. I talk to my VAs, tell them what they need to get done for the day, to my email person, my video editor, and everybody that kind of my team. I talk to them early in the morning, and then I get a couple more hours done. I like to go to the beach when nobody's out there. So I go around 2, 3, and then I get back
Nice.
when I know I don't like to be out when it's too busy out. So I get back home right around 5, 6 when everybody's basically getting off work. So I get
Yeah.
back home to get more work done. So I kind of like to take my break when it's quiet out there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And in the workspace, so like related to like running your business, paint that picture for the audience. Working on scaling ads or.
So scaling is easy. Let's just be real. Scaling, you don't really need to do much. I just tweak the Facebook ads a little bit at night. And I don't do much. At night, Basically every single night I submit the orders. It takes about 2 minutes to my supplier, and then my supplier updates the tracking. When it comes to testing, at the same time, I like to test. I have someone testing products for me. So what I do product research once a week. I dedicate like 2 hours to it to do my own product research. This is one thing I still do just because I don't think a lot of people know what sells, what it doesn't. So I don't outsource that. And I do my product research. I have about 20 products together. I send it to my product testing person, and then she basically sets up all my ads. So I have an ad account for testing where she has access to it. And then she basically set up all the products for me on that ad account. And
That's
then
awesome.
basically, I test products 20 to 30. Depends if I'm scaling one product or two products. Really depends every week. And then if I'm not scaling anything at the time, then I test more because I want to get it winner.
Wow. So
Yes.
hopefully the audience can totally see, this picture, the way Naz has it set out, treating her business like a business, and
Exactly.
and having people work in different aspects of it, and then freeing your time up. So you got a system in place for testing, so
Yes.
you don't have to be the one to do that because you already laid out your own system.
Yes.
And how it works for you, which is awesome.
Exactly. I mean, clearly in the beginning, you'll be doing everything yourself. You don't have to overwork yourself trying to test, let's say, 50 products a week. But the faster you test, the faster you're going to find a winning product. And I'm just about results. So like, I like to outsource things, even if it's going to cost me a little bit more. I know long-term, I'm going to make more money investing in good people and a good team.
Oh, that's awesome. Very well said, for sure. One thing that caught my eye when I was looking at your profile was that helicopter story. Tell the what's the story behind the helicopter?
Wait, what helicopter story? Which one?
Which one? You got more than one? Well,
no, it's not mine.
The
helicopter is not mine. Clearly, I just rent it out sometimes for fun.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about jumping out of it, or?
Both. Yeah.
Well, I do like thrill. Like I like I like exciting things. I feel like when you start a business, honestly, one thing that I do think you're a person, you're the type of person who's willing to take risks, right? If you're starting a business and you're depending on yourself to pay yourself, basically. Know that if you work, you're going to get paid. And for some reason, I usually connect these two together. Like, I feel like I need something more thrilling to get me like excited about something. So I recently started taking classes to become a skydiver. And then if you're asking about the helicopter, my goal is to eventually be able to jump out of a helicopter. But in order to do that, the requirement is to have 200 jumps. So I'm still a long way. Like I only have 6 jumps or 7 jumps in so far.
Wow. That's a really great story. Yeah, no, I noticed the helicopter, and it leaves like really good video clips for sure. And I was just like, all right, yeah, that's awesome.
I know.
No, that's really great. And the other thing that I was curious about, because that was a way that I ended up catching you online, which was through Scott Hilsey's story when he had that meetup in LA.
Right.
What was the story behind meeting Scott and connecting with him?
Well, Scott Hilsey he's my good friend. I would assume so.
Yeah.
And well, we met online, and then we talk about drop shipping. We talk about businesses, videos, and everything. And it happens that we both, like, I'm moving back to LA, and he's gonna be at some point moving back to LA too. So it's kind of nice to have friends, who are on the same page and doing the same thing. They're motivated. They're around you. They motivate you. So he's like one of the good people. Like he's very genuine and nice. I would assume so, because I don't like that many people in the space, but he's one of the people that I would say he's very genuine and nice, and he actually like puts effort into helping people out and then expect nothing.
Yeah, really great dude. And I caught that story where you guys had the meetup, and he was a guest on the show as well.
Nice.
Towards the beginning of the year, and
right.
He's one person that's been keeping it real the whole time, which is awesome.
Right.
And the YouTube video that you guys did, That was pretty awesome too. You guys just kind of sit together. Actually,
Right.
describe for the audience, like, how did you guys play it out, like the gunshot thing or whichever.
Wait, which one?
He,
What is it?
he had like an
Oh,
audio of like gun
the
shooting.
beginning, wasn't
Yeah.
it so cool? I even told him, I'm like, this is the most legit intro I've ever seen. And he was laughing. He did such a good job in the beginning of the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. So yeah, we made a video, and then hopefully there's more video to come. Yeah. So
Oh, that's awesome.
the goal is eventually when I move back to LA, we're gonna be making more videos.
That's awesome. Yeah. They're running and ducking, and then I was just like, oh man, that is so great. Yeah. So for the audience, we're trying to describe it, and it's audio, but I'd say, go check it out on YouTube. And I'm not sure. And actually, let's even talk about your YouTube channel. Do you have that video on your channel as well?
I don't have the same video, but we're gonna make a video interviewing him once I hit 10,000 on YouTube. So that's the goal. So
awesome.
if you wanna see that video, just go and subscribe to my YouTube.
Awesome, for sure. It's definitely one to look out for. And for the audience, let me just kind of mention, because in doing the research on Naz, she's been dropping some real value on YouTube. A lot of great tips, how you're running your business with the visuals to go along with it, which has been really great. One video that stands out, which maybe we could talk about. You did one recently that was like the what to do when finding a winning product and scaling. Do you think you could talk a little bit about that?
So are you talking about the last video, right, that I posted?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So this is like before you scale. There are a couple of things people always like. Again, I get a lot of questions that people ask. Oh, I got 5 sales. I got 10 sales. Can I scale it? Can I scale this? First of all, not all products are scalable. You might even get 20, 30 sales. But if it's not consistently profitable, I would not try to scale that. But what I would scale is if something is getting consistent sales, is profitable, and you're getting good clicks, basically. Mm-hmm. And what I would do, I go ahead and basically duplicate those to bigger budgets. There are different ways of scaling. Again, like I do scale things differently based on the ROAS. What is the ROAS on the ad set, or how much profit is it making? Honestly, every product is different from the other. So I can never tell someone to do something. I hate doing this, because every product is different. Every ad set is different. Every pixel is different from the other one. But I kind of made a general video of, if it's profitable, if it's consistent, then you can go ahead and assume that you can scale that product.
Which is really good. I mean, those are some of the general, guidelines or principles to follow. And, just like you said, each one would be slightly different, but you want to look for those kind of benchmarks that's going to give you an idea that, hey, this is probably worth scaling.
Right.
Exactly. And you laid it out. Yeah, you laid it out really great, for sure.
Right.
And one other video that actually caught my eye too, which I thought was really cool, is, and this is probably, a good number of people running into, is those that are getting sales, but it's not profitable. And you did a video on that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Let me see which one it was, but I can talk about if you're getting sales, but if it's not profitable. There are a couple of things you could do. One thing I first look into is to see, sometimes people price their product too low. And if the price of product is too low, and then Facebook ads are getting expensive. Honestly, I feel like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, around the time that when I started, I could get really, really, really cheap cost per purchase with Facebook. And now I feel like every year is just getting a little bit more expensive, which is not a big deal. Still, you can make a lot of money, but you just got to be like smart with pricing your items, right? So like I have kind of a formula when you're pricing your item, at least like $20 more than the price that you're getting from Aliexpress or your supplier or whatever that you're working. Just in my head, I assume, let's go on a higher end. Let's say your cost per purchase is $10, and then you want to have at least $10 in profit, and then That's not counting, let's say, the transaction fees and everything else that comes into it. So I feel like a lot of people actually price their items lower than they should. So that's like one thing that you could do, or you could increase your order average value by having upsells, post-purchase upsells. There are different ways, honestly, too. You can make it more profitable.
Really good. Yeah, for sure. And I think most people don't even think about that, which is, stuff leading in the back end, the upsells, and just like you touched on that average order value, just like increasing that can increase your profitability, which is really good. And
100%.
and I think even in the video you touched on even adjusting the ad creative. Remember you said like testing the thumbnails, stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't talk about that.
Oh yeah, thumbnails, videos. Like I had products. I usually have 2-3 videos when I'm testing one product. You don't have to do it when you're getting started. I do it just because honestly, I have nothing better to do. So I go ahead and test everything. And I have a video editor, and he makes the videos in literally 10 minutes. So like I don't have to worry about it. If you don't have that, like in the beginning when you get started, you don't have the skill to make videos right away or make great videos. So you don't have to spend that much time. As long as you're consistent, you're good. But anyways, you got to test with everything. So I had a product, actually talked about it on one of my videos. So it's out there. It was a ear endoscope that I scaled. That one. I had 3 videos for that. And it's funny. I think in less than 2 weeks, I got about 73,000 in sales on that. And that one was 46% in profit, which was crazy. That was like one of my most, like, I'm still sad about the fact that I got shut down because I never had 46% profit in a dropshipping product. Wow. Anyhow, and then really low refund. I probably had like 2-3 people just asking for refunds, which is great for how much we sold. What do you got to do? You want to have, like, for example, for that one, I had 3 videos, and then 2 of the videos, like, right away, they were not good. They were not performing and nothing. And one of the videos started like crushing it from the beginning, just getting sales after sales, like $2 cost per purchase. It was crazy. So yeah, videos make a huge difference. And then thumbnail, the same thing. I had another product that I tested multiple thumbnails, and then one would perform so much better, because I actually wouldn't think that would make a difference, just because when you're on Facebook, the video starts playing right away. And then I never thought, or is it Facebook or Instagram? I'm not sure, one of those. And either one, I think. And then I never thought that would be a big deal, but apparently it is, or somehow with Facebook algorithm, it makes a difference.
Yeah. I mean, that type of engagement, right? So like, bringing that cost down because it's more engaging.
Yes.
And really great point. I'm glad that you touched on that. And I didn't mention it in the video, so I'd say for the audience, go check out her video, because she like fully, laid it out. Like if you're getting sales not profitable, there's different things that you can do to make adjustments. And I really like the fact that you've been hammering on testing, and it's really becoming a master of testing at all different core aspects of your dropshipping business, which is just so awesome. Maybe even talk a little bit about that, like, having the importance and the mindset of testing.
Honestly, testing is everything. It's not only with dropshipping, in any business. Like anything that you do, you got to test a lot of different things. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about how important it is. And even me right now, like, there's still going to be times, like, even when you're a pro, when you've been doing this for a while, there's still going to be time I'm like, why is this not working? I need to change this. Even sometimes I myself get stuck with my own ways, and I'm like, I need to change something. Like, I know this is not the right way of doing it. And I feel like a lot of people get fixate, like they get fixed on something, that they try to just do one thing, or just stuck on one product that is not working. So like testing is very important. Test everything. Test different products, test different creatives, test even new pixel. I that's another thing that I do. I have maybe 45 ad accounts. I always talk about it. People joke about this with me. I have a lot of ad accounts, just because sometimes a product that would perform good in one pixel, it wouldn't do with on another one. And that's another reason. Oh, testing 100%. Why do you think people go and try to find other people's winning product, and then they test it and it doesn't perform? That's why, because something that is a winner in another pixel, it would not be a winner on yours. So you got to find your own product.
Wow, really good tip there. So hopefully the audience caught on that. Wow, even testing at the pixel level, that's great. That's a really great tip for sure.
Well, like I said, not everybody needs to do that. I just don't have a life, so I test everything.
It's so awesome. Well, hey, it's paying off for you for sure. I mean, you're absolutely crushing it and putting it into a system, which is really great. You know,
Right.
one of the things that came to mind as you were just talking there, which is that, you know, since you've been drop shipping over the past few years, and along with testing, like you said, even yourself figuring out how things work, because things evolve. I mean, now it seems like things are changing. Now it seems like even almost every other month, it's, you know, something's changing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the way people are preparing for CBO, things like that. So maybe, you know, even describe like how has dropshipping evolved and changed over the past few years?
I mean, things are always going to be changing, right?
Yeah.
And if you, a lot of people again think it's too late to get into dropshipping. But the thing is, people have been drop shipping since I was born, probably. They would just do it differently. It's funny. I actually met someone who was...
I've been doing it since the dot-com boom, and that's close to 20 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So is it true that... that's what I heard. I heard that people would advertise on TVs or like in the magazines and stuff. Is that how it was?
So yeah, I mean, I was dropping, you know, this was when Google was just, you know, starting, and Amazon was just selling, you know, books, and but for me, so the thing was, you know, I'm a techie, so I've been a developer at my own tech company, but I've been around since then, but also in the online business space, you know, proving out what works. But my first drop shipping business was a site called Upscale Cigars. So I had to, this was even before Yahoo Store, which was one of the first online store platforms. So I coded my own e-commerce platform and automated it from, you know, front to back, and had, you know, drop shipping arrangements with the manufacturers. So the Don Diego's, Cohibas. This was before there was legal regulations about sale of tobacco products.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, you were selling cigars.
Yeah. So that's how early it was. So like a way to picture it is almost like the way cryptocurrency came out, and people and governments trying to catch up and regulate it. So this was before there was like that type of regulation. So in drop shipping that, and I mean, you know, I made the site look high end, you know, like that's why I called it Upscale Cigars, and, you know, high end, you know, rich white guy smoking or sexy woman smoking. And they weren't just buying a single cigar, they're buying a case of cigars. And
that's crazy.
It was selling quite a bit, even up to the point that, you know, I think there's like a $1,500 order from Beverly Hills, because they were just buying a bunch. And that was the transaction that raised the flag for my internet merchant that said, we don't process sales of tobacco products. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Wait, when did this happen?
It was probably the beginning of 2000. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So you were still running it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Where were you dropshipping from? This is so interesting.
So there's actually a platform that was called Worldwide Brands. I don't know if you heard of that before.
No.
So even for the audience, this was basically a directory, and this is a good tip for the audience too. You know, nowadays everyone's just jumps right to Aliexpress, but Worldwide Brands was the first, you know, drop shipping directory that connected. You even find U.S. manufacturer suppliers that are willing to do drop shipping.
Interesting.
And it's all vetted out for you. And so basically it's meant to connect you know, retailers or drop shippers to the actual vetted suppliers. These suppliers are vetted in there, and it still exists to this day. Most people don't know about it. You have to pay to be a part of it. It's just like a one-time fee. I paid for it way back then, and I still have the membership.
You still have the membership. That is insane. That's so well. I might need that membership.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That is so insane. So see, like dropshipping being around for so long.
Since then, and if you're looking to do drop shipping with U.S. suppliers and manufacturers, which is very profitable,
Very.
That's one of the best sources to use. It's a huge directory.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, we'll leave that in the show notes as well. But yeah,
Right.
most
That's
people don't know about
amazing. That's so
that.
cool. I didn't even know about it. But yeah, I can say that's how dropshipping has been changing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's so that's why I say, most of the younger next gen, they think drop shipping's been around since Shopify, and I'm just like, oh no, man, it's been around since the dot-com boom, beginning of e-commerce, for sure. And for me, like, I did it to prove out that it works. I had my technology company that was both blowing up, and I did other forms of online business too. And even up to this point, it's kind of the reason why I do Tech Money Talks, to kind of, show and highlight what's working and what's real. Because on the surface, kind of like what you hinted in the beginning, like, people hear these crazy numbers and they just can't believe these type of numbers, and they think it's a get rich quick scheme and the scam. And it's just totally not that. I mean, it's business, it's commerce. And if you treat it like a business, like the way you described through this episode, it's very rewarding. I mean, would you say it's been rewarding for you?
It is very rewarding. And honestly, I totally agree. That's like one of my pet peeves when people, or like some people tell other people, oh yeah, just get into it. It's easy. It's this. I mean, it's easier than starting other business, a physical business. I would say that, because you don't really need to change to get out of your house. Literally, you can build a business from your laptop. But you still need to put time in it. You have to put your full-time attention, full-time effort, full-time everything. And you still need to invest money into learning. And then again, another pet peeve is people thinking that they're losing money in the beginning. They're like, I just lost $1,000 or $2,000. But in my head, this is how I think. I'm like, no, you just spend that much money to learn what works and what doesn't. Like we went, I don't know if did you go to 4-year college?
Yeah.
So like average person, I did too. Average person spend about 60,000-70,000 in a 4-year college, right? And then the thing is, they come out and they get a job that pays them $40,000. So if you like, that sounds more scammy to me than thinking that spending $1,000, $2,000 learning about Facebook ads for internet marketing is losing money. That's like 60,000 is losing money to me.
Yeah.
And that's not totally counting the interest.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. And I think that's a whole other topic, really deep topic, as far as, education. I get a lot of questions, even some of the other drop shippers, they're young and they're deciding whether or not they should stay in college. And I'm like, well, I really don't want to try to answer the question for them.
Yes.
But people know. I mean, if you're, and maybe we can even talk about that as far as like self-education, like,
right.
Some of the other ones that are like really crushing it. I mean, I think they're going beyond what college is going to teach them, because they're pushing themselves.
Right.
Self-education, stuff like that.
100%.
Maybe even talk about that. Like, what are you doing now to kind of keep yourself up to speed on the latest stuff?
I mean, honestly, let's just be real. Nowadays, anything you want to learn, you can Google it, right? You can learn from YouTube or anything. Like, for example, like honestly, with college, I mean, if people have a purpose, they want to be something that requires college degree, definitely they should go for it, right? But I feel like if they're lost, they don't know what to do, then that's the time that they have to take a break and figure out what they actually want to do. And when it comes to self-education, I do think you can learn a lot of things online that doesn't like require you to go to college necessarily. Like I'm really bad with editing videos. I always say that in my YouTube videos too. I think in my beginning YouTube videos, probably last year or something. So one day I committed, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to edit videos. Like I'm actually going to learn it. I'm so bad at this that my business partner, who's really good at this, he consistently make fun of me, and then at least used to make fun of me. And then I dedicated about 4 or 5 days and sitting on my laptop trying to take educational courses on Adobe Premiere to learn how to edit. Now I can edit better than my business partner who was making fun of me, who went to college and then learned about all these things, techie stuff and editing and stuff. So honestly, I think you can learn anything you want. Like literally Googling it, you can find it, and then actually putting time into it and learn from YouTube, from whatever material that you're looking for.
Totally. And I mean, it's basically called that online education, which is kind of where it's going to. So, most people get it on YouTube for free. And like we said, if you're looking into drop shipping, check out Naz's YouTube channel. But, even other aspects, like you said, you wanted to pick up a skill set in video editing. you'll probably find it on YouTube, but then you also find, different courses that'll
Oh,
teach
100%.
that
Yeah.
for you. And for the cost, you're maybe paying, $100 or $200, but I mean, that's peanuts compared to like, you wouldn't
College
go
cost.
pay for a full 4-year degree, like you said, $70,000. And
Yeah.
you probably, still didn't come out like an expert in Premiere.
Yes, seriously. I mean, I personally
So-
paid for a lot of courses, and I think they were 100% worth it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it has been the trend for sure. So hopefully for the audience, you caught on to that. You can identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and if you're looking to improve on your weaknesses, it's just as easy as identifying that course, having a mentor or something like that in that
Exactly.
space where you want to grow, and
Right.
just kind of dive into there. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of mentors, and I wanted to touch on this because really glad to have you on the show. There's been a lot of women that have, hey, how come you don't have more women on the show? And I was like,
Aw.
I want to, and then I tell them, hey, I hope you will be the next guest on the show when you start, crushing it in drop shipping.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you're here. Absolutely crushing it, and being a good example and role model for a lot of other women that are thinking or aspiring to get into e-commerce. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Honestly, it's just, I don't know what it is about e-commerce that a lot of men get into it, not a lot of women. But honestly, I mean, it has nothing to do with your gender, right? As long as you're focused, you're committed. Like, you don't have to it has nothing to do with your gender. You can get into it. You could if you work hard enough, you'll be able to actually achieve whatever that you want. So yeah, it has nothing to do with the gender, right? And honestly, I kind of like to I work sales, which in sales, again, another male dominant industry. And I didn't get why is it that there are more men than women in that industry. And the funniest part is that it's been proven that females are better closers than men are, or at least they close a higher percentage, even though they're more distracted, because females get distracted easily than men do. So I don't know what it is I don't know if it's because they fear that if they get into it, they're not going to be successful because there are a lot of men in there. But honestly, it has nothing to do with your gender. And honestly, that's like one of my goals. I wanna have more women getting into drop shipping. Even though like right now my YouTube is like 90%. Like all the questions that I get are from guys. Like there's not that many girls. They're like few women that message me. They're like, oh, I always wanted to get into it. I just wasn't sure if it's the right thing for me. So hopefully I can kind of get those people to fully commit to the business.
Yeah, and I think you've been setting a great example for sure. And then, hopefully, like I said, I had a lot of people, or a lot of women, reach out and ask that question. That's why I was really excited to have you on the show here. And I think, from this episode, just like Naz said, I mean, don't let the fear stop you, or, don't let whatever's, rolling in your head that, I don't really know, but it's just like, it's all about, taking action, testing, taking the next step, maybe if you could touch on that, and how would you encourage more women to get into e-commerce?
I do think there are two types of people. There are people that fear failures. And then there's also people that fear success. It's a funny thing, but actually it's a real thing. It's real. They actually think success can like take away certain things from them. And then I would say like that, at least that's my experience. I'm an immigrant, right? I was not born in America. So I lived different countries. And then there was a point that I had nothing else to lose because I didn't know where I'm going to live next. And that's like when I was younger, when I was 13, 14, I didn't know where I'm going to be next year. And then at that point I had nothing to lose. And then I feel like that kind of helped me now with thinking there's nothing to lose. Like literally you have nothing to lose. If you start a business, if you really, really want to start a business, what is your fear? Like, what is it that is scaring you or stopping you from starting a business? So I feel like it's a very individual thing. You have to identify what is one thing that is stopping you. Is it your mom? Is it your husband? Is it just fear of success? Is it fear of failure? Which goes all to those two things, because they think if they become successful, for example, their husbands might leave them, or if they fail, people may laugh at them, right? So I think it's just like you got to identify what it is and why it's affecting you that way and kind of overcome that, you know? And then, and then at that point, honestly, with everybody else, there's nothing to lose. Even if you have a job and you're thinking, should I start? Do I want to spend this much money? But first ask yourself, how serious are you about this? Are you willing to commit your time, let's say your time and your effort into this for a while to be successful long term? And then, so that's what I think it is. I think people just shouldn't fear anything. Yeah,
very well said, and great advice for sure. That was really great advice. That's really awesome.
Yeah, sorry for talking longer than I should.
no, that was great. You know, you know what I wanted to touch on. I wanted to give the audience, what's the best way for people to follow you? We talked about YouTube.
So on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, just type in Nazerati, it would come up. You probably know there's only one girl. And there's another guy. That's not me, or that's me before I'm just kidding. That's just the girl. That's just me. And it should come up easily. And then it's the same thing on Instagram, but there's a K at the end because someone took my username.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to get that one back.
I know.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll leave that in the show notes for sure. And I want to give some exposure on this latest stuff that you're working on.
Right.
I did catch that you had a course that was called the Econ Playbook. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I started making this course, that's what I'm gonna basically talk about. Is when I started this course, my goal was not to make another course. You know what I'm you know what I'm saying? Just not another course that is out there or this. So my commitment, first of all, is it's cheaper than a lot of courses out there. But then my goal was to keep this updated as often as I can. So this course specifically, which I don't think anybody goes as deep as my course, I go into Facebook testing and scaling. So literally 80%, I just cut all the bullshit.
That's the majority,
there's no there's no basic stuff or things that you can find on YouTube. You won't find on my course. That's what I'm going to say. So the basic stuff that you find on YouTube, you won't find it there. But what I include in my course is basically A to Z for Facebook advertising. How to test, how to set up, the things that you never probably know that exist that you could find on my course. So basically, one of the things that I'm going to tell you is that you could have 2 business managers for each Facebook account, and each business manager can have at least 5 ad accounts to start with. So if you get shut down, you have another one. These are little things that most people actually don't know this. And this is one of the 100 things that I have in my course that I basically people don't know about. So my goal was just to have step-by-step guide that you could follow, specifically with Facebook ads. Like I said, most of my course is focused on how to run Facebook ads, how to get traffic to your dropshipping business and all that.
And similar to the way that you're operating your business?
Yes. And exactly. And then the thing is, I update it every 2 to 3 weeks. So anything that I learned, I try to update it all the time. So for example, I learned how to video edit because I was trying to get my editor to make a video, but then I'm like, no, I want to do something that I would do. So I learned how to video edit and I included it in my course, or little things. I have new suppliers. So I have a list of my suppliers also in my course, just for people to use my personal suppliers that I use. Yeah. And I have really a list in there. So everything that you can't find out there, I'll put it in there, and it's updated all the time. So it's one time you get into, but you have access for the rest of this dropshipping journey, or till I'm alive, basically.
No, that's great. And I hope the audience caught that, because it's not yet another course, because most of the other courses out there, 90% of them are all covering 90% of the same thing.
Yes.
And what Naz just talked about is kind of like the 80-20 rule, so that core 20% that's bringing in 80% of the value, that is just that's where you're focused on, and keeping it up to date. Man, that's really awesome. Yeah,
I think that's what's important, and I think a lot of courses don't do that. Facebook changes literally every couple of weeks, so I'm not going to sell something that is not going to be beneficial for you next month or in month after,
Yeah, yeah, really good
So
stuff.
yeah.
Anything else that you're currently working on that you want to give exposure for?
Well, what else do I
Any
have?
mentorship?
I do mentorship, but it's very limited just because I don't wanna be like, I wanna focus on the people. I have a couple people right now in my mentorship,
Yeah.
and I just try to
It's
focus
just
on their
time.
success.
Yeah.
It's very time consuming because I like I said, when I do
Yeah.
something, I like to do it 150%. I don't want to just
Yeah.
be like, oh, get in, I can help you when I can't, or I don't have the time to do so. So yeah, but currently I have a assistant coach that he's also doing. He's been doing basically 7 figures, so he's helping me with coaching and all that. So it's kind of nice to have someone.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like he's doing a lot of calls for me and helping, students and everything. So that's nice. But yeah, but it's very limited. I'll let you guys know when it opens up again.
A lot of great value, and hopefully the audience is catching on to this. I mean, she's committed to her business, and then for her students and things like that, she's committed to keeping it up to date and delivering value and quality, which is just really great, man. So awesome. Well, I mean, you dropped a lot of great tips and value today. I really want to thank you for your time. And I just wanted to ask you, I just remembered, is it okay to follow up with you later in the year to see how things are going? Bring you back on the show.
Of course.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, let's see if we can.
Great.
So the goal is for next time to hit 40,000 a day. So that's my goal. Maybe I can get back on when I hit my 40,000.
That'll be a great thing to talk about for sure.
Yes.
Well, this is great stuff. And as we come to a wrap here, I want to give you a chance to leave some closing remarks with the audience. So I'll let you take it away.
If you really, really want to do something and you've been thinking about it and it's been in your head, you just got to go for it. Don't overthink things. And the more you overthink it, the more you give yourself time to not do it. So if you've been thinking about something, you just got to go for it and then make it happen. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. There's a lot of people that get stuck in overanalyzing things and overthinking it without taking the first step.
Yeah.
Take action, folks. You gotta take action.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to the right time. The right time doesn't exist. The only way that you're going to be prepared to run a business is by actually running the business. Yeah. Even people that have been running a business for 30 years, they still don't know what they're doing sometimes.
Yeah. Really great stuff. Well, thank you for your time, Naz, and have a good day.
Well, thanks for having me. You too.
So I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Tech Money Talks. I hope everything was helpful and thought-provoking and somewhat entertaining. If you want to learn more about this topic, please let me know so I know what to focus on in future episodes. My goal is to teach people how to make money with the opportunities that technology can bring. And if you like this episode, please show your support by subscribing, leaving an awesome review. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My tag name is Tech Money Talks. Thanks again. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace.